maternity wards of this hospital, 70 children are born every week. 70 times 52 weeks a year is 3,640 babies. All of them different. Ask any mother or father. "19 years ago, 79,160 children ago, a boy was born to a woman named Tolia and a man named Nicholas Ross. Looking at his newborn son, Nicholas Ross turned to his wife and said, "I like him. He's a nice kid." The boy was named Joseph. Joey Ross, pre-medical student. Joey Ross, basketball star. Holder of the intercollegiate record for the most baskets scored in a single season. Despite all the magazine articles which proclaimed the conflict between fathers and sons in our time, Joey Ross and his father Nicholas are friends.
Will you let me do the dishes before I break them?
If you don't like it here, go back to Lvov.
Don't let her get you down, Mom. Okay, Pop, that's it. I gotta go. Hey, you know, Mom, with his reflexes, he should have gone to college. He'd have been a four-letter man.
College? When I grew up on the street where we lived, nobody went to college and everybody was a four-letter man.
Mom, this is what I'm going to do it this afternoon. Wang!
Nice kid.
If I wanted to go back to Lvov, I wouldn't have taken out citizenship papers.
Okay, I gotta deliver a package before I go to the game.
Bring me back a spool of white thread and a spool of black.
Huh? Yeah.
Package! You can't come up here.
Professional hoods, professional killings.
We got these guys listed as out of town.
Somebody else has them listed as out of circulation. They have a better list than ours.
I know 4 or 5 guys that could have had this done.
You've got 2 hands, count to 10. Get hold of Adam and tell him his vacation is over.
You'll appreciate that.
Well, he's had a day and a half. Probably wondering what he's going to do with himself. I want you and Adam to circulate around. Find out the hot rumors, especially those preceding the big event, and give them to me in writing. Also, find out who's out of town.
Is it against the law to be out of town?
Well, where would you be if you hired somebody to handle these 5 killings?
Out of town.
Look first and then throw, okay? You all look pretty good to me. Now, on the books and by the records, maybe Tech figures to beat us. But I think differently. I think we're gonna win this afternoon. So get your showers, get dressed, and the bus will be waiting to take you down the garden. And relax! Joey, how do you feel?
Butterflies.
Well, if you didn't worry a little, I'd worry. I'm counting on you to make the difference this afternoon. Still worried about getting into med school? Well, you can't be a coach for 15 years and not have a few successful alumni. I figured it wouldn't hurt for me to put in a good word along with your transcript and letter of recommendation. Just a 4-cent stamp and a little ink.
You don't know how grateful I am.
I've had that letter for 5 days, but I figured I could kill 2 birds with 1 stone and give it to you at the psychological moment, like just before the gate.
Boy, just wait till I show this to my father.
Oh, I already called him and told him the day I got the letter.
He never said a word.
I figured he could keep his mouth shut. That's a nice man, your father. Look, like I said earlier, relax. If we win, I'll personally buy you an ice cream soda. Bring your father. I'll buy him one, too, for having you. He's coming, isn't he?
Could you keep him away?
Say, you've had that no answer signal in your ear for the last 20 minutes.
10.
I love the way you guys cover for each other. You're a detective. You want to get a hold of Adam and he isn't home? Call Libby. And if he isn't there, I want an all-points sent out on him. Because I want him. And I want him today.
Yes,
Oh, no, Adam, maybe it's my agent.
Honey, it's bad luck to turn back. We already started out.
Yeah, but it's worse. Like if I lose a job because you wouldn't let me answer the
Oh,
telephone.
baby, that's why you pay an answering service. Come on.
Well, let me listen without talking. Okay?
Come on. Why don't you talk without listening? Come on, get your...
Oh, what up, bully?
March, come on, march.
You don't know what you're doing to every neurotic actress bone in my body.
I know what I'm doing to those bones. I'm taking them out. Now.
Yeah, but I'll be a nervous wreck all afternoon.
Out.
You don't know how long I wait for the phone to ring.
Out.
Hello? Just a minute. Adam?
My office. Thank you very much, Pandora. Have fun.
Lot's wife.
Yes, Mike. Vacation is canceled.
You were just out on the river enjoying yourself, taking a nice, quiet ride. That's why you didn't have any identification on you. That's why there's no laundry mark on your shirt. That's why the labels are torn out of your jacket. That's why you didn't have a wallet. But you did have $500. You were just out on the river taking a nice quiet ride, enjoying yourself. Huh?
You always wear a hat and vest when you go out for a motorboat ride on the river, don't you? That's what everybody wears, don't they? What's the thread for?
I guess it was just a coincidence that 10 minutes before you were fished out of the river, 5 guys had been gunned a mile away from where you were found. And it had to be an accident that you cut off the right of way of that sailboat and refused to stop when the harbor patrol signaled you. It had to be an accident because, like you said, you're on the river all the time. You're a great boatman. You were there for your own pleasure. And I guess that's why you got sore when they tried to fish you out after your boat had turned over. And that's why you won't tell us your name now, because you're still sore. Isn't that so? Let me tell you something, mister. We've got you nailed pretty good.
We got nothing but time, pal. I know that guy. I've seen him before.
We got no record on him, no fingerprints, no pictures in the mug book, nothing.
I know him, and I'm going to think of his name.
Frank, what did we run down on the boat?
You don't have to have a license to have a boat.
You don't?
No, we're checking with the Coast Guard.
You remember a couple of years ago, we got a tip-off that Sally Dillman was throwing a little Appalachian meeting at a crummy hotel downtown?
Yeah?
Well, that guy was in the lobby. Got there about an hour after we did. And we checked to find out what he was doing there. He said he was using the telephone, and we couldn't prove otherwise.
Yeah, we questioned him and we let him go. We didn't even bring him to the station.
That's the guy.
Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I don't remember any of
You
this.
weren't with us, Adam. Reuben, Robin, Robber. It began with an R.
Rubinsky?
Rodzinski, that's it.
Nick Brzezinski.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Where's that report you gave me this morning?
Right on the table.
It figures. Sally Dillman is out of town. I'll bet you one thing, he'll be back today or tomorrow. Check up on it. Talk to him. Shake him up a little. If there's one thing I don't trust, it's a crook with an ironclad alibi. All right, Mr. Rodzinski. Take these clothes downstairs to the lab. Tell him to tear them apart, thread by thread, until he finds something. Here's a dime. There's a payphone downstairs in the hall. You're entitled to one call. Take him downstairs and book him on suspicion of murder under the name Nicholas Rodzinski.
Just for the record, my name is John Dole.
Dillman, police. I'll have a talk with you. Better tell him it's private.
It's private, fellas.
You figure it's safe to come home?
I finished my vacation. I came home. Business can go along just so long, then you gotta come back to it.
There were 5 hoods killed on the Hudson River this morning.
Nobody I was well disposed to, I hope.
You didn't have one friend in the 5?
Everybody's gotta go. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. Better an enemy than a friend, whoever they were. I'm taking your word for it that they were unfriendly. I don't know anything about it yet. Must be something on your minds to make you take a long ride out here just to meet me.
But you might be interested to know that Nicholas Rodzinski's in trouble.
You have a reputation for being loyal to your friends, Mr. Dillman.
I think you're making a mistake. I don't recognize Mr. Rodzinski.
Well, it's a bad picture. But I can get you a good one.
I don't know anybody named Rodzinski.
That ought to shake something up, don't you think?
Mom? Pop? Mom? Mom, are you sleeping? Hey, what's the matter? What's happened? Hey, where's Pop? He didn't even come to the game. What's happened?
Look. Don't you recognize that man? That's your father.
Oh, come on,
That's your
Mom.
father, Nicholas Rodzinski. That's your father.
What are you talking about? My father's name is Ross.
In the old country, the name he was born with was Rodzinski.
What's this got to do with Pop? What do you got in your head? Doesn't even look like Pop.
I didn't know. Years ago, he swore to me he was through with him.
With who?
I'll tell you who your father is. Your father is a thief. Your father is a gangster. Your father is a murderer.
This is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous about it? I want to talk to you.
Are you out of your mind? You got a tail on you.
The cops, so what? You are my attorney of record. That's no news to the police department.
But it's so late at night.
So I can't sleep. I got business on my mind, and I have to talk to my attorney about it. I don't care what they see. I gotta talk to you someplace where they can't put a bug on me.
Okay, don't get nervous.
Who's got ulcers, you or me, huh? I don't take tranquilizers, you do.
Please forgive me. The whole world knows that you've got an even disposition.
Don't top me. I hold it against college men. Did you get a call from Rodzinski?
Since they picked him up?
No. He didn't happen to turn his books over to you last week, did he?
Well, why should he?
Because 2 cops met me at the airport this morning, and another one's tailing me right now, as you so carefully pointed out. I don't want the DA to connect me with Nicholas so he can use it that way in court.
I haven't seen him or heard from him since the first of the month.
Okay. Thank you. I'll call you when I need you.
You always do.
You send your bill, you get paid, don't you?
dog got sick? My dog? Papa's the one who took him down to the vet's 4 o'clock in the morning. Papa's the one who sat up with him for 5 hours until he died. Then took the day off to explain to me about death. Is that the way a murderer acts, Mom? Mama? Mama?
We have company. Not your father, his business associates. His business associates. Come in, it's only 3 o'clock in the morning.
Charlie, Tom.
I'd like you to meet your father's friends.
Hey! Hey!
Leave him alone! That's Nicholas Rodzinski's son!
Look, kid, we're in a hurry. You tell him to be a nice boy, huh?
Sit over there, Joey.
You tell Nick I didn't mean to kid any harm. I don't want that gunsel after me.
You keep your mouth shut about my
Shut your
father!
mouth! You don't know who you're dealing with. They'll kill you like a fly. Now, sit there.
When did you ever see my father even hurt anybody?
You don't know anything about your father. Shall I tell you why he left Poland? In the town where we lived, everything was owned by a baron who lived in the castle on the hill. When he felt that the fields weren't being worked hard enough, he sent out a man with a whip, and they made a lesson. They took whoever it was and hitched him to a plow and beat him like a horse, till he pulled like a horse and plowed the baron's fields. This happened a dozen times a year. Everybody watched. One day it happened to your grandfather. And your father's face was without feeling. But that night he took an iron bar and went to the house where the baron's man lay sleeping and smashed him to death. Then he killed his wife. That's why your father left Poland when he was 17 years old.
I don't believe you, Mama.
What's he looking for?
If they wanted you to know, they'd tell you.
It's just a legend. Mama, it's just a legend. It's just something people talk about. It's just something you've heard.
We lived 2 houses away. I saw him when he came out of the man's house. His face like stone, his hands covered with blood.
You wouldn't have married him.
Oh, I loved him. It was a violent country. There was violence all around us.
Well, there's not too much I can tell you. We did a thread count and analysis of the material, domestic wool. Now, this pattern and this material could have been woven in about 3 or 4 different mills. But even if you trace that down, there are several hundred manufacturers that handle this stuff. 5,000 to 8,000 retail outlets for suit.
5,000 to 8,000 in the whole country.
That's right.
Yeah, but how many in this area?
A couple of hundred anyway.
Well, what about these 2 spools of thread?
You can buy them in any department store, any dry goods store, any 5 and 10. And a lot of drugstores and supermarkets. They must sell 1 million of these identical spools of thread every year. Now, I checked the contents of the trouser cuffs. Nothing. You see, the immersion in the water had washed all that away.
Let's go.
Where are you going?
I've had it. Dead end.
I only got as far as the trousers, the vest, the shirt, and the jacket. When I got to the hat, it got very interesting.
Say, tell me something. Do you experts get paid by the word?
I'm giving it to you point by point, just the way I come on it.
Now, what about the hat?
Now, look. Try not to make a federal case out of this, will you?
You'd think a guy who was as careful about everything else wouldn't have anything in the hat band. They all slip. The hat, of course, was immersed in the water along with the other clothing, and I wasn't too sure I'd be able to restore this. I had to be very careful. When it got to us, it was just a soggy piece of pulp. You must be a basketball fan. Usually you figure a guy like this is with the horses.
Turn it over. Let's see the other side. What is that?
C.O. Complimentary. That would be my guess.
You supposed to keep a record of who gets those tickets?
But usually all the players get comps. Yeah, I guess the team manager would have a record.
Well, then we not only wind up with 5 killings on our hands, we inherit a basketball scandal.
Look, Mike, if you want to, I'm sure it's easy enough to track that down.
Thanks, Reese.
See you.
Where did you get this ticket?
Why do you ask, Mr. Moore?
Well, because it's been signed out to Joey Ross. He only takes one a week. This was for his father.
And if we had the ticket, the father probably wasn't at yesterday's game.
Well, that's right, he wasn't. Why, did something happen to him?
Maybe he handed it to a friend.
No, Wild Lions couldn't have got that ticket away from that man.
What does he look like?
Joey? I've got a picture
No,
of him up.
Joey's father.
Well, he's about 6 feet tall, maybe a little more. Has some gray hair. Wears steel-rimmed glasses. He's a very neat man. He's very nicely dressed always. Sort of old-fashioned. He always wears a vest.
Where do they live?
Why, did he have an accident?
Yeah, only the accident happened to 5 other guys.
Frank, second that. Yeah.
No corpses.
Thank God.
Let's go, Frank. Thank you.
It's a cinch if they didn't find what they wanted, there's nothing for us here either. You know, I think we hit a nerve when you and Frank talked to Dillman at the airport. I think there's something tying Dillman to Roginski or Ross or whatever he wants to call himself. That's what we're looking for.
Mike, we have to figure they came here first.
Why?
Well, look at the impression Roginski's neighbors have of him. He's a nice guy, an ordinary businessman, good family man. He keeps his home life separate from any connection he has with Dillman. Now, Dillman has to figure the same way. If whatever he's looking for is connected with him, the last place he's going to look is Ross's apartment. But Frank and I saw Ross's apartment ransacked. Therefore, whatever Dillman was looking for, he obviously didn't find it here.
The question is, did he find it at the apartment?
Well, that's what we'll have to ask the boy and his mother when we find them.
If they're still alive.
If they're still alive.
Just thought I'd drop by and bring you the Daily Bulletin. We ran across the ownership of that boat you were riding in. Belongs to a guy that got shot yesterday and was fished out of the river 3 hours ago. Body has a record. We identified it through the fingerprints. The body was shot with the same gun that you killed those other 5 guys with. Just thought I'd bring you up to date. Let me out of here. Oh, by the way, Ross, we dropped by your apartment. Somebody been there before us. They went through it pretty good. Your wife and son weren't there. They're missing.
Told you once before. Her name is John Doe.
Yeah, Flint. Put her on. What? Lady, you just stay there. I'll be over by 1:30 the latest. Mike.
This is my son, Joey.
How do you do?
Hi.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Please excuse our asking you to come out here.
Mrs. Ross, I've been to your home. I saw what was done there.
We lived in that apartment for a long time. Before Joey. I had it furnished in a very comfortable way. What they were looking for was a safe deposit key. It belonged to my husband. In the picture in the paper, his name was Roginski.
Yes.
They didn't find what they were looking for.
Mrs. Ross, we'd like very much to have that key.
I'm sure.
Do you know what was in the vault?
My husband gave me that key because he trusts me. Whatever it is he has done, he is still my husband. He trusted me not to look, and I didn't look. What I want from you, Mr. Flint, is to take my son to see his father in jail. Depending on what Joey feels after he talks to my husband, he'll tell me what to do with the key. I listen to him.
Now, Mrs. Ross, I can get a writ compelling you to give me the key. And you and your son may both go to jail if you don't comply.
What does the word comply mean?
Obey.
I thought that was the meaning. I didn't say I wouldn't give you the key. I'm just waiting for my son to tell me to obey the law.
Would you believe me if I told you that in my whole life, my father never raised his hand or his voice to me? I've never been hit. Pop? I guess I should have come sooner. It's all kind of mixed up. But you don't look so different. You look just like you're taking a nap on the couch.
Pop! Don't turn your back on me. I didn't turn my back on you. Don't run away from me, Pop! I have to talk to you!
You want to talk about me? My nature was made in concrete, frozen like stone 15 years before you were born.
Well, what do I do about you?
You don't do nothing about me. Get back home and take care of Mama.
There isn't any home. Mama won't live there anymore.
Well, you tell Mama I said to go back there. Tell her I said that's the home I made for her and I want her to go back and live there.
You know, all my life I came to you when I hurt. All my life I came to you when I had something on my mind. All my life, Pop. Pop, I want your help. Pop.
You live a little longer, you get straightened out.
Talk to me, Pop. Don't just let words roll out of your mouth. Talk to me, please.
Look! I raised you nice. With a good home, I put warm food into you. Did I ever once, since you were born, once use a dirty word in front of you? Huh? You ever see me gamble? You ever see me take a drink? Now, I taught you respect, I taught you good manners, and I gave you good clothes. That's what you were entitled to. And I have a life of my own, and that's what I'm entitled to.
Pop.
Now, well, what? You want me to explain? You want me to say I didn't do this, I didn't do that? Go to hell.
I love you, Pop. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Thank you very much. There's one lesson I learned in life. Don't want anything. Some things don't even reach for because you can't have them. Young man, you made a mistake coming here. You obviously thought it was somebody else. Now that you've seen my face, it's clear that we don't know each other. I don't know you, young man. Never seen you before. Haven't the faintest idea who you are.
My name is Joseph Ross!
My name is Nicholas Roginski. So how could we be father and son?
If you want me to, I'll identify the men that came to our motel. I'll do it in court.
You know what Dillman would do to Joey if he gets on the stand? I'm not the only killer Dillman can hire. You mustn't let him do it, please. Don't let him do it.
If you won't, I have to. That's my judgment.
How about that?
Oh, I checked them. I had the Department of Street send down a foreman, identify them one by one. They're all right.
Cars are on their way. It won't take them long to get here. It's look pretty quiet.
What do you expect? Solly Dillman to be standing over there with an I am Solly Dillman button on him?
Frank, anything new coming in?
Not since he slipped the tail.
He'll be here, don't worry. He'll either be here or he'll be on his way to the electric chair.
Not personally, not Dillman.
No? If he wanted to use out of town for an alibi, why did he slip the tail?
You have no right to be here, Dillman. This is where I work. This is my bread and butter.
Well, I told you, go to Canada.
I work for you in court. I don't want to be embroiled in this thing.
Shut up.
I'm not going to be the patsy in this setup.
He's right. He needs some protection. Give him an alibi.
Don't cry. If you think it's so bad here, go back to Lvov. I raised a fine son.
Pop. Pop. Pop.
You were standing there in the jail, looking at me, wondering how a man could love his son, and then go out in the afternoon and kill 6 people. Foolish boy. What has one thing got to do with another?
I don't know what to say about a man like Nicholas Ross. The man is dead, and he stands in judgment before God. God, I offer up to you a word for Nicholas Ross. Out of his wild and crippled life, out of himself came a fine boy. God, those two who were closest to him, his son and his wife, loved this man. Surely that must count in his favor. Amen.
Mr. Ross, can I have your autograph? See every game you've ever played in.
Sign it, Joey. Your father would be proud.
Thanks.
There are 8 million stories in the naked city. This has been one of them.
Presentation from Columbia Pictures, produced by Herbert B. Leonard.